us, Newsmax foreign policy analyst and former Trump foreign policy advisor. Thane Rosenbaum is a Tara University professor and a Middle East analyst. Gentlemen, welcome. Thanks for coming on. Waleed, we'll start with you. And like I alluded to, a lot can change in a very short time frame. Here's what President Trump had to say at the news conference yesterday about the United States having a more active role in Gaza.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area.
So, Waleed, do you think that happens? And what sort of impact will the U.S. have on this region?
Let me not surprise the audience, but I want to reveal something. December 2015, just before I was appointed his first foreign policy advisor, I was at his office, and then candidate Trump and I looked at maps, and he had a vision for Gaza and other places in the Middle East, but for Gaza to transform it into some livable place. That's why he's repeating now, years after that, that it's a vision to enhance the life expectancy and also the society of Gaza to become, transformed. And he compared to Dubai. He compared to the Riviera. Now he's talking about it again in France. So his vision is humanitarian. His vision is a developer, strategic developer. And now he's the president of the United States. He wants to do good things for Gaza. It's not a solution of ethnic cleansing like the opposition is talking about. Yes, I understand the Arab leaders at first are going to be surprised by the issue, but then this is not overnight matter. They're going to meet, they're going to discuss, and things could happen maybe in different ways. But the state of the Gazan population right now, having Hamas ruling them because of that ceasefire for the hostages, and also at the same time not being able, look at the map. He told the public, you look at the video, is this livable? It's not livable. So the chances are really in the hands of the Arabs now. If they want this status quo to continue, it would continue another 10 years and nothing will happen. It's something the Arabs will have to think about.
Yeah, and by the way, to your point, unlivable, we have live shots of Gaza all the time, and it doesn't matter which vantage point, it looks like rubble. It is unlivable. There's really no argument there. Professor, if we could just step back, though, just for a second in these briefings and when the president speaks, and rightfully so, obviously you have to question him, but it's for legacy media, it's like he throws a bone, the dog goes chase it over there. He throws a bone here, the dog goes chase it over there. What I'm saying is that maybe this is just President Trump saying, hey, look, I'm interested in it. Remember, he's a developer, a very successful one, by the way, has buildings just about everywhere. Maybe he's saying, I'm interested to get maybe somebody else interested in developing there, maybe get other people interested over there. Is that a possibility?
Well, Sean, what Waleed said is so true. People talk about the Abraham Accords all the time, but you know what we're forgetting? That Jared Kushner and his team negotiated what they saw as, they called it, the peace through prosperity proposal. That was their attempt during the first Trump administration to resolve the matter with the Palestinians. The Palestinians refused to show up to any of those meetings. And the peace to prosperity proposal was sort of dead on arrival. But it was, just as Waleed said, it was focused on turning Gaza. People don't realize nothing stopped Hamas. No Jews live there. In 2005, from that point on, when Israel withdrew, nothing stopped Hamas from turning it into Singapore or Macau. Here's something you don't know. Gaza has amazing surfing. It would become one of the surfing sites in the world. It's not during terrorism. So this is the risk that the Palestinians took in never trying to become statesmen and only being attracted to terrorism. And in terms of the United States taking the land, here's a shocker, and you're hearing it from a law professor. Nobody owns Gaza. It is there. It is not. It is a land dispute. There has never been a Palestinian nation run by Arabs in the history of that land. It is a land dispute. The Palestinians forfeited 5 opportunities for statehood, and this is the risk that happened. A shock to the system where Donald Trump said, you don't want it, I'll take it. I'm a developer. I know exactly what to do with it.
Yeah. We'll see. Obviously, this would be years in the making if it were to even get to that point. And then there's the question about whether Palestinians who had lived there would welcome this. Waleed, would it take U.S. boots on the ground to actually make this a reality? I mean, again, you're talking about hypothetical situations, but for folks who wanted to be voting for America first, who didn't want more foreign wars, does this seem to be in opposition to the Trump that he had campaigned on and the message he had sent earlier on when he was running?
Absolutely the opposite. I mean, he promised the world, promised Americans that we're going to end wars, but ending wars overnight is not possible, and ending wars with more wars is not possible. What needs to be done are two things, in my view. Of course, many other economic, financial matters needs to be done. Number one, no Hamas in any option, neither in this option or the option of doing nothing. Hamas cannot rule Gaza. It's a terrorist organization. It has committed a genocidal act on October 7th. So that's number one. Number two, what worries me, even if we have skyscrapers, if we have nightclubs and restaurants, and now the idea of the best surfing place, I agree with the professor. What needs to be reformed are schools, and not just the buildings as we did in Afghanistan. The educational programs have to be reformed. We may need the UAE, we may need other people, but if you don't want a second, third, fourth generation of Hamas, you need to reform education.
All right, a lot to talk about there. Waleed Phares, Thane Rosenbaum, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Tulsi.